Because of Veterans Day, but we thank you for staying tuned with us this morning. It is Law Talk, the Frolich, Gordon Beeson Hour. I don't even have my card here.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
After a 3-day weekend, your head is cleared. I guess we better give him Monday off at least twice a month.
Really? Well, I'll tell you what, after hearing some of those doctors sing, it cleared my mind right up.
I heard about that. Well, I hope you had a good Veterans Day and a good day off. I'm sure it sounded like you did.
Yep, I had 4 loads of wash, had the dog, and just had a lot of fun.
Good.
Cort Frolich joins us this morning. This is the hour where you are able to ask questions, get law help, legal questions, get some answers, and if you don't have, Cort can't have the answer for you, he'll tell you who to go to and get the answer from. And we're talking, I don't know if we've been together since our good friend Jill hired more attorneys down there.
Yeah.
If you need a will, don't forget, call Jill.
Call Jill. That's right. And if someone else commits a tort, call Cort.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Jill, that's,
It's good to see you guys,
Good
and
to
I
see
heard you
you.
talking about Dale Jones, and my son Chris went to massage
Saturday
last
night?
week.
Yeah.
I think it was, I'm not sure which night it was. Whether it was Friday, it might have been Thursday night, actually.
Could have been,
I think it was the first night he was there, and Chris had never seen Dale and just thought he was fantastic, and brought back memories. That guy just, I pound the table, I laughed so hard when that
Well,
guy.
you wouldn't have been the only, and Roy Haber, who opened for,
You said he was great.
he just had some great stuff, and
It's just a great place to go, because the food is good too. And,
Yeah.
you don't always get a combination of good entertainment plus good food, but
Yeah.
Mark certainly has delivered out there. That's for sure.
7 years this weekend.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw we actually were downtown this weekend. You mentioned being downtown. We wandered into Dean's south of the border's 20th year anniversary. That was an interesting crowd down there.
Oh, yes. They had an interesting band there for their 20th.
They did. We wandered.
What was it, the Pit Bulls or something?
Something like that, and they were aptly named from what I saw. They looked like they liked to bite you if they could, but they were very good actually.
I think they're all on restraining lines.
they might be, but that place was packed.
I drove by it coming back from the doctor's thing.
It was
and going up, I thought people were spilling out onto 41 northbound.
I wouldn't doubt it, because they literally had, good thing nobody shouted fire, because we would have had a disaster on our hands. But both my kids, of course, were there naturally. They waited till Tammy and I had left to arrive. Probably a good thing.
Yes, and
Yeah.
we want to congratulate Dean Staten for 20 years.
No kidding.
Mark Asciuto for 70. Those guys were neighbors.
Really.
Oh yeah.
Up north, or
No, down here.
Down here. It's nice to see these places that make it. We've had so many go out of this past year. I mean, we lost a lot of restaurants here in town, a lot of places to go, but some of these guys are hanging in there and only getting better and bigger. So good for them. And they've got a formula that works, and it continues to work.
And they don't change it much. I mean, Mark has now added the fresh pasta.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Right?
Exactly. And of course, Slipknot got sold to Scott Cook, and he's doing super down there as well. And we wish everybody best fortunes in this upcoming new year.
We got the season back. People are coming back, so hopefully.
And the Patriots won.
You got Bill and Janet down at Jack's now.
Oh, yeah.
Downtown, and they're doing a great job down there. We stopped by there for a drink, and it's good to see them. They're working hard. So.
Well, that's where we saw Cooper.
That's Jay and Vicki Glenn's dog, Cooper.
Yes.
He's got a lot more hair than Jay does.
I think that's why Jay got him.
I think so too. Jay tells me that dog is a chick magnet, and as I told you though, it's
80-year-old
chicks. Yeah. Well, Jay's age, whatever works.
Yeah, that'll work for you, Jay.
Speaking of dogs, we'll come back. We're going to talk about dog sniffing searches here when we come back.
Well, we had
segue,
had the guys from when they were here in town talking about
K9 guys.
Yeah, how they do that with the dog sniffing. It's pretty fascinating.
It is, and it's in front of the Supreme Court. The validity of it is in front of the U.S. Supreme Court right now, and.
Go ahead, plant some marijuana on one of the Supreme Court justices. Yeah.
Well, the issue is that, and of course the case naturally comes out of Florida. Where else? And the issue is whether or not the use of these dogs violates your right to privacy in your home. Your home being your castle, as the saying goes. And what is being done is these dogs are being trained to sniff out drugs, whatever the case may be. They're being taken up to the front door. They sniff. They obviously don't go in the house. They don't have the search warrant at that point in time, but they sniff, and I think they sit down is what they do to indicate there's a presence of illegal drugs in the house. The police officers then use that information, go to the judge to obtain a search warrant, and then search the house and, of course, find contraband. And the question is whether or not that goes too far and violates your fundamental right to privacy. And the case was argued in front of the Supreme Court, and there were some U.S. Supreme Court. The Florida Supreme Court found it to be unconstitutional. The state of Florida, there were two cases, appealed them both to the U.S. Supreme Court. And it's really, there were questions about the training of the dog. How do you know that the dog is appropriately trained? And then there were questions raised about how far do we go with this? Does that mean that law enforcement can take one of these dogs just down your street, Tommy,
Yeah.
and just go house to house until they get a hit? And okay, now we're going to go get a search warrant for this particular house. So the court
Pretty vague.
The potential for abuse, I think, and the other thing that worries me is where do we go next with technology? Okay, a dog is one thing. I have no doubt that law enforcement, if they cannot already, will be able to develop the technology basically to see inside your house, to basically look through the walls, look through the windows, and determine whether there's any sort of illegal activity going on in there. I mean, do we really want to go there? And,
the infrared already.
well, that's right, Jeff, and that's a good example. And so, this is going to be very interesting to see what the Supreme Court does with this, because it's not only the issue of the dogs, which has its own potential problems, but it's the issue of, well, that's one step. What's the next step in terms of just walking up to your door? Up to your door, outside the door, but being made aware of what's going on.
What's going to happen in Colorado and in the state of Washington?
Where they just approved
where they just approved recreational marijuana. Now, the dogs are going to be busy as hell out there.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the dogs are all high out there anyway. I can tell you that.
Let's go to the phone lines right now. Good morning. You got a question for Cort?
Okay. Was it a used vehicle? Yeah, so the lemon law isn't going to protect you under those circumstances. If it was a new vehicle, you'd have the protection.
But it was
Though sometimes I wonder just how much protection you actually have with the Florida lemon law.
Within 60 days, Dale? Yeah.
Did they give you? They didn't give you a 30 or 60 or 90-day warranty? Nothing. Boy, that's a tough one, because normally if there's no warranty extended on a used vehicle, you kind of buy it, as is, and you pay your money and take your chances, unless you could show, that there was some sort of active deceit or active fraud.
If they already knew it was
or they knew that this engine was going to blow up, and but in order to find that out, you'd have to put the cart before the horse. You'd have to file a lawsuit, take discovery to find out, the history of the vehicle, what they knew or they didn't know. And of course, that's expensive, because you're going to have to get a lawyer on the front end and incur those expenses. And it may turn out that you're going down a blind alley and you can't do anything anyway. It's a tough situation. Have you talked to the dealer that sold it to you?
Probably a person.
Was it a dealer? Was it a dealer as opposed to a private person? Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had a rabbit to pull out of the hat for you, but I don't this morning. You on those situations, a lot of used cars come with a 30, 60, 90-day warranty, which would have given you some protection. But it sounds like none of that was offered here at all.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. Go to the dealer, though. Every once in a while, the strangest things happen. People do stand up, do the right thing, and maybe he'll step up to the plate here. Okay.
And this is well, it's on their implied warranties as per the Magnuson-Moss Act.
Well, yeah, that maybe. Maybe, and that's a federal.
No,
that's a federal
that's coming
statute.
That's coming from Gino.
It's got to be coming from our friend from Colgate. Yeah. So there's no question about where that's coming from. Perhaps he'll call up and actually, Gino, give us a call and talk to us about the Magnuson. What is it?
Magnuson-Moss Act.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll be right back. Tommy's got traffic.